Welcome to Roll for Review, where we're looking at the very best in tabletop RPG crowdfunding. This week, we're looking at Kickstarters that launched in the first half of February. I'm Joe, creator of The Wanderer's Guide, and I help make tabletop games for a living.
Hello, humanoids. I'm Hannah, also known as Halfling Hannah, and I'm a forever DM and a DM resource creator on YouTube, Patreon, and my website, halflinghobbies.com.
Hello, I am Alex, a designer and marketer for The Wanderer's Guide, an everyday TTRPG player and gamer.
And together we are Roll for Review, where the three of us gather RPG-related crowdfunded projects, like a reclusive wizard gathers magical artifacts high in his tower, and then we show off the very best to you. So what's going to happen is each of us have chosen three of our favorite Kickstarters that have launched in this first half of February, and we are going to explain them and discuss them along with you. Then at the end, we are each going to give our chosen Kickstarter a roll for review. This is the number that we feel this Kickstarter has rolled for its presentation as well as its ideas. And it can get some modifiers, either positive or negative, depending on a lot of different factors. And of course, you'll want to stick around to the very, very end where we show off our fun finds. In this case, it's the best zines that we have found in the last part of Zine Quest on Kickstarter, which runs all the way through February. And if you missed our last episode, we reviewed 30 of these zines in one episode, and it was epic and a lot of fun, and that's over on YouTube if you want to head over there.
Yes, absolutely. And that being said, if you end up liking what you hear here on our live stream, these videos and these streams will get uploaded to YouTube the very next day, and they will stay on our Twitch channel for about 2 weeks before they were replaced with the next stream. You can find us here every night, every other Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m. Central, and
maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
If snow doesn't cause us to get stuck.
Yes, Alex got stuck. That's why we're a little bit late. That's okay.
Oh, guys, so we've got some Kickstarter projects to talk about. And I don't know about you guys, but I had a tough time this week because there were so many good projects that launched. Like, I think every project that we're going to talk about this week is going to just be a great project. Like, I think people's
100%.
People's wallets are going to be hurting by the end of the episode.
Mine is.
But let's go ahead and I'll talk about the first project that I chose, which I'm very excited about. So the first project I chose was The Wilderness Book of Modular Maps for Tabletop Roleplay. You got it. It's so exciting. This, it's a map. But this is by a company called Loki Battle Maps, and they're out of the UK, but they are a veteran in the D&D TTRPG world, and they have made lots of projects. This is actually their 7th Kickstarter, and this is the 3rd project that they have done with these battle map books. Okay, now as we talk, I have been watching the numbers slowly tick up, but they are 10 backers away from hitting 3,000 backers on Kickstarter, and they are very close to about $200,000 in funding. They are doing really, really well already, so definitely a sure thing. They know what they're doing. But I want to talk a little bit about this product because maybe this is the first time you've heard of these battle map books by Loki Battle Maps. Okay, so they've been around a while, and what they create are these 1-inch gridded battle map books that you can like unfold and put into different configurations to create unique and interesting battle map scenarios. Okay, so this is to work with like standard scale D&D miniatures and to do combat encounters on a gridded battlefield, because a lot of your Dungeons and Dragons and other types of combat encounters in RPGs usually require, you know, fields of movement, and a 1-inch square is equal to about 5 feet. So this is something that is very, very useful for people that want to have more of kind of a living environment for their combat encounters in D&D. The first book that they did like this was a book of all dungeon maps that had all kinds of different rooms and lava flows and caves and caverns and stuff like that. The second book that they did was a towns and tavern book. So they had these books that had different taverns and towns and buildings, so you could create little city environments for your combats. This book is all based on wilderness maps. So being at the beach, being in the woods, being in the forest, being in just like a field, sand dunes, frozen mountains, all of this different configurations. I mean, Alex is showing off all of the different things that they have. And the way that they present these is they basically give you 2 books, and both of these books have 40 different maps in each of them. And so you can unfold them and create basically a 2x2 grid, which creates a pretty big area of battlefield by just rotating and moving these books around with their different pages. So you could, you know, put desert next to a river if you wanted to. But they do have a lot of pairings that kind of like make sense together. But they're basically saying, get these books and put them together to create these like big square battle maps. Yeah, it's really, really a clever idea. They're spiral bound, so it's very, very useful. And people like it. Like lots of DMs like this, because this is better than just having blank white squares on your table, right? And it's you don't have to go through all of the effort of like building this like gigantic dungeon for like every single combat. And that's also very helpful, because what I found as a DM is that exploring the dungeon is its own thing, and the combat within the dungeon is a completely separate thing. And a lot of times I don't want to create a battle map encounter that is in the dungeon. I just want to use a separate map for that one encounter, because everyone's just kind of interacting in this much closed space. And if I try to expand that to the entire dungeon, it just becomes a very messy ordeal. So this is what this is for, is you can just flip these books open and just have more of a thematic backing to your battle map combat encounters. It's really, really cool. Some of the stuff that they're offering with this Kickstarter, though, is really cool. So one of the things that they offer, which I really love, is they call it the Little Book. So there's like this little mini flip book, which is just like a boat or a bridge or it's just like this little, it's just made to connect the 2 books together thematically. It's just a funny little thing that they have. They also have a lot of other cool stuff. They have this is brand new and something that I'm very excited about. They have a 340-page random encounter book that they're offering with this Kickstarter.
Wow.
They also have a deck of cards, 150 cards, which they call combat twists, which is just, you can draw the card and add just kind of a creative flair or element into your combat encounter. So there's just a lot of stuff going on. Hannah, as a DM, I don't know if you've bought any of their other products before, but is something like this useful for you?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I'm thinking, you know, travel scenarios where you have random encounters and you're in a forest, you're in a desert, whatever. Like, you can just throw this down. That's what I'm seeing this for. This isn't my planned like boss encounter, because obviously I'm going to create something because I want specific things in specific places. But this would be so useful just to have beside me and be like, yep, giant time. Here we go. And just throw it down with a, you know, random figurine with it. Yeah, that would be incredibly useful. And they look beautiful, and they've got some really cool elements to them too. Like, some of these have ruins that's a part of it. They've got, like, I like the depth of it to where players can still find places to hide behind. It's not just flat. There's a lot of depth, large rocks, obvious paths, trees, things like that. So it allows for some players to get creative with the map as well, which I really encourage. So yeah.
Yeah, that being said, I am noticing a couple other things like the static clings that they're using.
Oh, I love static clings. I have a whole book of them.
That's super. I've never actually seen someone say, "Oh, it's a static cling." That's not something that I've seen in a long time.
Surprisingly useful.
A lot better than just like regular stickers for sure.
Yeah.
So going the extra mile there. One thing I will say, and we touched on this a little bit. I've seen some battle map products out there that are very beautiful, like very, very beautiful. And while these are nice to look at and thematic, I would not say that these are like the most glorious battle maps that I've ever seen. But one thing I will say is what this is the workhorse of battle maps. This is the everyday rough and tumble, pull it out, use it over and over and over again. It's not going to get old. It's not going to get stale. You can really make this a part of your DMing toolbox for your random encounters. Huge product improvement and quality of life improvement for your players and for the DM.
Yep, I agree.
So I got to talk a little bit about what the best value is. Yeah. So I did the pound conversions. So you're welcome, YouTube. What I
Kickstarter does those for you.
It does those for you, Joe.
It does those for you, Joe.
Yeah, but if they're looking right here on
I did conversions one time, just in case anyone thinks I'm being a jerk right now. I did conversions one time and he shot me down.
I was just letting you know that next time you didn't have to invest the time.
Yeah, very thoughtful.
All right. So best value. I think if you're going to back this product, you're going to want to back the Extended Wilderness. What is the Extended Wilderness? Well, it is the modular map book, so you get both books as a set, and the little book. Because it's only a couple dollars more, and they give you the little book, and you want the little book. Why would you not get the little book?
Why would you not want the little book?
You want the little book.
In fact, you just want like 30 little books. That's what I want. I just want to create a battle map of 30 little books. That's what I
just a whole bunch of boats.
Yeah. Just be like, why are we always fighting on a bridge? This doesn't make sense. Everything's on a bridge.
Burn down a boat. Here's another boat.
Yeah. Bridges.
For $52, you can get Extended Wilderness, which is the full map set and the little one. But I wanted to throw this out there for anybody else. You could get the one of everything, which I want to go through what this has. This has the book set, the little book set, the immersive double-sided GM screen. That's cool. 150 card box set. 340-page hardback book of random encounters, which I think is the winner here. I think it goes little book, big book. Like you get an exclusive D20 and you get everything as PDFs as well. But as I'm looking at this, the one thing about the immersive double-sided GM screen is there's no information on it. It looks like it's just art on both sides, which is fine. Immersive. Some people might want that. I would prefer my GM screen to be a little bit more useful, but hey, it's something that you can
inspiring.
Get. So,
when my players are doing something crazy, I can just look into the distance of those beautiful mountains.
You know what I think it might be for is to put around the battle maps to create like a
backdrop.
Could do like a backdrop. See,
does
never
say
mind.
Immersive double-sided GM screen.
Yeah. See, I sold myself on it. I'm already.
You're already
So you could get the Extended Wilderness for $52 or the one of everything for $139. Now, there's a lot of in-between pledges, cheaper pledges, more expensive pledges. They've got everything, but I think those are the two that if you're going to be looking at this product, those are the two that you're going to want to look at for sure. So,
question for you, Joe. Do they have a little book add-on?
They do. So they do have a little book add-on, and the little book costs £9.
That's
I don't
all
know
I'm
what
getting.
The conversion is.
I'm just getting the little book. You didn't do the conversion, Joe?
Well, okay, but do you want the little book and the static clings?
Yeah, I do.
Because that's £18.
Okay. Like $20.
Yeah. It's about.
I'm down.
But then,
I'm
don't
down.
you want the 340-page hardback book
No.
of 1,000+ random encounters?
No.
Oh. All right.
So, Joe, what
I'm
would
just
your
kidding.
role?
It sounds
what would your
amazing.
role be for?
I got to give this a roll.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is solid. Loki, they know what they're doing. They know what their product is. They have a good audience. It's doing really well. They've got a lot of really cool stuff in here. Solid 17. This is a hit. This is a hard hit. And they get a +1 because it's maps.
Because it's maps.
'Cause it's
Joe's maps.
Joe's maps.
Loki Battle Maps, I like what you're doing. I like your product. Keep it coming. Really excited for you guys. But yeah, let's move on.
All maps all the time, because actually I'm doing a maps one too.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, this next one, it's a little bit different, and I am so excited about it because while Joe's was super traditional in its kind of layout, how you lay the pages out and you have an actual battle map there, this one is like industry breaking, I think. I think this is the new direction that things are going, and I could not be more excited about it. Mine is called Dungeon Alchemist.
Ooh.
And first of all, great name.
Yeah.
Love the name. It's a great name. And this is by
It is
trademarked. It's trademarked because it's a great name. Wim de Hurt. Not sure if I'm saying that right or not, but he's the lead designer at Blue Jay. You don't get a whole bunch about him, but what you do get is that this already has over $200,000 pledged to it. It has smashed its goal on Kickstarter and is definitely helping, or definitely happening, with over almost 4,000 backers to this. This is crazy, and it is for an excellent reason, because Dungeon Alchemist really does feel like magic. Because what you do is you pick a map size, and then you highlight how many squares on that map you want a room to be, and then an AI, artificial intelligence, generates the room for you.
Wow.
And it can be random. It can be like you pick a theme, so you know you're not gonna have a tavern and end up with something weird in there. So you pick a theme. You can have forest, like you can do indoor, you can do outdoor, you can do caves, you can do taverns, inns, any of it. You just pick a theme, you pick a map size, you click how big you want the room to be, and it populates everything for you in glorious 3D. You can then export these and put them into Roll20 or wherever you're doing your virtual DMing, and it is seriously the most mesmerizing thing I've ever seen. I want you to play the video. I don't know if we can play the video or not, but I kind of want you to play the video just to see how this happens, because describing it is not good enough. It really isn't.
I can show some of it. I don't know if it's able to be heard, but we can definitely
you don't need to hear
show
it. Yeah, if you can just show like it populating.
Oh wow, yeah. No, this looks incredible, and it's just gonna like bloop bloop bloop. Oh, that's really amazing.
Yes, literally just pops up. Then you can change things. You can rotate things. You can move things in the room. You can delete objects. You can change the whole room. Say, actually, I don't want that there. I want this to be a kitchen instead. And boom, it's a kitchen.
I don't know if you know this or not, but is there a button when you populate a room that just says respawn, 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 so that it keeps giving you different configurations until it's like, oh, I like that one best.
Like a reroll.
They have a random generator, and you set how often you want certain things to occur.
Wow.
So not only is it a random generator, but it's literally tailored to your tastes and how random you want things to be. Because I say I want random things, I really don't want things that random. So that's perfect for me. So yeah, you can make the little rooms, and then you can make hallways, and it automatically connects. Did you see that in the video? Automatically connects with doors.
Generates doors.
Oh my gosh.
This is like The Sims for DMs.
It's
so smarter.
Incredible.
So I just want to point out that Hannah sent a message sometime last week that just to our little Roll for Review chat and said, oh my god, I'm claiming Dungeon Alchemist. And like there's a lot of times where I don't like, as I'm just like, I put a list together and I don't look at every single project as I'm doing it. I'm like, it's a role-playing product, put it on the list, put it on the list, put it on the list. And then we go through the list later, right? So Hannah claimed this one, so I didn't even take a look at it yet. This is really the first time I'm seeing it.
Oh
this
my
is
gosh,
amazing.
No, it's incredible.
Incredible. Like, I cannot speak highly enough of it. This is industry changing.
You called dibs, and it was probably one of the best dibs. It was such a good dibs grab because I was this close. I was right there. I was like, I want to talk about this one. It's so cool.
Nope, it's dibs. And I think I said dibs like 10 times in case you were wondering if I was really serious about it or not. Because dibs. Because this is absolutely freaking incredible. Like, I don't know. You can even print them. Yeah, that's another part on here. You can even print them.
It has
but
dynamic lighting.
Just simple. Yep. It works with point of view. So like your players, if you want them to only see what's in their their view, it works with point of view. Like, it's so incredibly robust and yet simple at the same time. And
wow.
And I've been getting updates because heads up, I did pledge to this. Definitely pledged to this.
And how much,
so I've been getting updates.
What level did you
pledge? I will get to that in just a minute when I talk about levels, because I kind of have to defend it a little bit. But I've been getting updates. They have certain objects that they're coming out with. So one of the objects that they just released this week as like a stretch goal was a 3-headed dragon statue. That was a gargantuan statue that you could place in different areas and like takes up a huge part of the map. Another cool thing about this,
I was like, wait,
really,
are they?
You really thought it was a real one? No,
in the
map.
Everyone?
In the map.
Okay.
That would be amazing, though. I would totally take that. You can also scale up and down objects. So if you wanted to make a gnome inn, you could make a gnome-sized inn, where when your players walk into it, everything's tiny. I can't say enough how cool this is. It's just absolutely incredible. And I'm so excited about it. Like, I'm just excited for this to come out and for me to get like my hands on it and be able to dig through it and like take video of what it actually looks like. Because if this is what it says that it is, this is a game changer for dungeon masters. We can create random or custom maps like that, 3D, and that look incredible. And wow. I'm 100% on board for this. I know.
Wow.
Joe, you're just like going through the page, aren't you?
Yeah,
just mesmerized.
No, it's also a beautiful page.
It is a beautiful page.
As a graphic designer, I got to say that this page is beautifully well done, and
it's an incredible video. I highly recommend page. Just watch the video.
You can tell that Wim de Hurt is a designer, and he says that on there, that he is an illustrator and designer, and boy, can you tell. It is. Yes. This is beautiful.
It looks so good.
So tell us, Hannah, how much do we need to pay?
So here's the thing here. Let's go through the pledge levels. This is in euros. And it does, tell us how much this is. But at just $37, you can get a lifetime license for Dungeon Alchemist and all of the stretch goals unlocked.
That's it.
$30 lifetime license. I feel so. Do you guys remember the Glowforge when the Glowforge first came out on Kickstarter?
Yes.
And it was like $500 or whatever, and now it's like $4,000 if you want to go and purchase it retail.
Like
this is going to be something like that. Yeah, this is going to end up being a monthly subscription, and the people who get on it on Kickstarter, I guarantee, are the ones who are going to be like, "This is your game stonks," game stonks. So yeah. So this definitely worth it for $37. Yeah. It's a steal.
Yeah, I just backed it right now.
Yeah, good job.
Good job.
And you play online. I was like, he has to have this. He plays online.
No, Joe, as one of your players, this is gonna step it up, man.
Okay, this is not the level that I purchased, though.
Oh, okay. Tell us more.
This is not the level I purchased. There's more. So at $55, you get the lifetime license. You also get access to the beta program. So you get it as soon as the beta testing comes out. So you get it sooner. And then all the stretch goals. That's not the level I pledged up. At $98, you get the license. You get your own flag designed in Dungeon Alchemist that you can put anywhere in your dungeons. So you get your own flag. You get Kickstarter exclusive object sets. You get access to the beta program and all of the stretch goals. This is the one that I pledged at because how cool is it to have your own flag that you can put places in your maps and everything. Plus, I wanted the beta. I wanted all of the release stuff. And yeah, just amazing.
Wow.
Then you can jump all the way up to about $300.
Wow.
You get two lifetime licenses, so that's why it doubles. You get 2 of them. Your own flag, the objects, your name in the credits, access to the beta program, and stretch goals. And then if you really, really like this, you can go up to $1,200.
Wow.
And you get a unique, here's the thing, you get a unique painting of your likeness in Dungeon Alchemist that people can just place, that just gets randomly placed in different rooms.
2 people have backed that.
Oh, I wanted to. Greg wouldn't go for it, but I was like, come on, Halfling Hannah everywhere. It'd be amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Wow.
yeah. Joe and I already backed this. I
I'm
think
gonna
this
back
100%. Alex is gonna.
I'm
All
gonna
three
back
are gonna
it.
back this one
I
because
wanna-
it's just incredible.
I want to start getting into DMing a little bit, and I think this, if I start off with
Joe,
this-
we've won him over.
Oh yeah, if I start with this, the people that I eventually start with as my players will be like, oh, this guy knows what he's doing. Meanwhile, I'm panicking on the other side of the screen.
Yeah.
But at least it'll
Well, I
look
have
like it.
Exactly, and you can random, like, literally panic make maps that look gorgeous, and it's super exciting. Yeah, because I have a TV in my D&D table,
no.
and I'm gonna use it for that.
Oh no, Joe has a
I
gripe.
do. I have one gripe. One
Okay.
small gripe. Okay.
Okay.
This is a very. We've talked about how beautiful the page is.
Yeah.
I think he really did a disservice not having GIFs on the page.
Oh, I see what you mean. Not like random ones, but like of it populating.
No, of
like,
actual
yeah,
population.
yes.
I would agree.
Like, why not like
That's fair.
start out with a whole bunch of GIFs of just showing like a dungeon, like pop, 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 pop.
Yeah.
Like that's how I would launch
Yeah,
this.
that's
page.
how I would start.
And I feel like
that's
that's
super
just like
satisfying to watch too.
and again, like we're not trying to be like nitpicky or whatever, but like we do also want to like put our own thoughts out there. And so that's just something like, as cool as this is, I mean, this was made for GIFs,
That's a good point.
right?
Yeah,
And
that's
there's
excellent
none.
point.
Or gifts.
However you like to say it, we don't care. Yeah, so this 100% great Kickstarter to back.
Yeah.
Here's my roll. This will not surprise you because what would you guys give it?
Should we all say it?
Let's all say it at
Nat
once.
2, 1. Nat
20.
20. Nat 20.
Good.
Hands down.
Absolutely, 100% nat 20, and I would even give it modifiers and pluses.
It's a plus 30.
It's 30. It's incredible.
It's-
Incredible.
Wow.
I'm
This is
so glad I
amazing.
had dibs on that one. That makes
Yeah.
me look so good, and I just found it.
Well, that was absolutely awesome.
Oh, love that. All
I'm
right,
definitely
Alex.
going to back that. Jumping into mine, which is definitely a little bit on the simpler side, something that is just a little bit fun, a little bit funny, and just something that I think can lighten up everyone's session. And this is called the Deck of Surprises. And the Deck of Surprises is a new and hilarious magical items and effects card for 5e. It's a deck of hilarious magical items and effects. And it has 15 days to go. It is almost hitting its goal, and I really want to see this one hit that goal. And I just think it's so fun because there are just fun ways to introduce little bits of funny things for your characters. So, for example, add flavor and drama, a bit of comedy to your campaign. You can randomly have something called the Pacifist Pigeon. This magical creature requires no food or drink. When you place it on your head, you have a +2 to all attack and damage rolls. However, you have disadvantage on all attack rolls because violence solves nothing. So see, these are just little things you can introduce to your players that are just slightly funny. Yes, Joe, you have a question.
This is super important. I have to interrupt you. I'm so sorry. So this is being made by a company called Outside the Lines Press. And I looked at what the previous projects that they've made are. And the project that they made before this is Fancy Goat, a children's picture book. And then the description, a children's picture book about a very fancy goat.
I love it.
These
I
guys
don't
are
like-
great. These guys
Yeah,
are
This
great.
is the content I'm looking for.
Outside
I love
the
it.
lines press.
This is why Kickstarter exists, is to
Yes.
make a book for children about a very fancy goat, and then this.
Like
I love
this is one of the cards that like really got me because I think it's really funny. And if you as DMs like just randomly flip this and said you're walking through the forest, I'm looking for. Can I roll for perception to see if I notice anything interesting? Flip a random card, and they could maybe discover an egg. This egg hatches after 7 days. Roll a d6 to determine what comes out. 1, a chicken. 2, the last person you kissed. 3, a ball gown that glows faintly. 4, your nemesis. 5, a feast for 100 people. 6, a zombie wolf that considers you its new master.
Wow, that's a lot of variety there.
So, like, there's just fun little ways that get introduced into the game, and I think this is just so funny to just be little random things that say, like, maybe the sessions have maybe been a little quiet, or you weren't 100% sure on where you were going for this session, and they're just kind of, you know, the groups decided they're just going to kind of wander through a forest. We'll throw a wrench directly in there, and maybe they pick up the earmuffs of paranoia. While wearing these earmuffs, you have advantage on attack rolls, but you think everyone is after you. You will attack any target within 5 feet of you, even an ally. Like, it's really funny little funny things that can, and
Wow.
that includes magical effects and magical items. And I think this is just absolutely super fun.
They look really cool too.
Yeah, and there are a couple things that you can pitch for and pledge for. So, for example, if you pledge $1, you could actually pitch an idea to them. So you can help out our campaign with this small contribution, and if you want, pitch us an idea for a card. As long as it makes people smile and isn't too overpowered, we'll consider adding it to the lineup. Like, that's just such a
Nice.
fun little dollar pledge level. You can get the PDF of the Deck of Surprises for $7. $7 US, $8 Canadian. You get the printable PDF. The full copy of the deck is about $20. So you're just getting the full copy, and I think that's super awesome. I think if you want to get it quickly and want to print it yourself, I would say go for the digital copy. But personally, I think there's something super fun about getting a nice printed copy of cards and going for the $20. And I think this is just super fun, super funny. And just looking at some of these, like there's one that's Phantom Pregnancy. I can stop any time. Like there's just, you believe you're pregnant with the baby of the next person to touch you. There's just random dolls, the frying pan. It's super fun. And I think this is just a really fun way to just introduce some fun little items into your game. And, you know, it might not be for everyone, but I think this is super entertaining. What do you guys think?
I think it's like, it's for a specific type of DM, right? It's for a specific like style of DM, or like it's not something that you want to try to implement into every session is to like use something like this.
No.
But I think like for the right people, like this could be a very good tool to put into their campaign. I think this would be, if you have a DM that maybe is too serious and takes everything too seriously, maybe this would be a good gift for them. Maybe back this and give it to them as a gift.
Just like, dude, you're
Yeah,
not
because
fun.
it's. I like the price. Oh, I like the price too because it is something that you'll only use sometimes, so you don't want to spend a whole bunch of money on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd spend $20 to have this. It'd be fun, and I can imagine a little whimsical like magic shop pull out some of these things that people that they can buy. You know what I'm saying?
I love
and
the art
so,
too.
Yeah, the art is super fun and they're really pretty. And then the thing that I love about cards, so I do actual loot cards. I make my own loot cards for my players.
Okay.
Because I get super annoyed with having to tell them 5 times what they looted off the body. So giving a card to a player and having them keep it, put it in their binder or whatever is super useful. So having some of these fun items to where they can just stick them, you know, in their folder is great. I love that.
Awesome.
You could do the same thing with the PDF version too if you're playing online, if you buy the PDF.
Yeah, that's true too. That's true too. So I have to give this a roll. I'm going to give it a 17 solid base because I think this is just right out of the gate. Like you said, Joe, this is what Kickstarter's for. Fun little projects that people find funny and can make people smile, make people laugh, and just it's something quick, something fun. And so I'm going to give it out of the base a 17, and I'm going to give it a +1 for humor. because I think this is just super fun, super funny, and I think it's worth the $20. So that was absolutely awesome. Super excited about all of these projects in our first half. We're going to take a quick break to hear from one of our hosts, and we will be back in a little bit. So see you soon.
Hello, humanoids. I'm Halfling Hannah, the creator behind Halfling Hobbies. And here at Halfling Hobbies, you are going to find DM resources and only DM resources. We are here for dungeon masters, creating all sorts of things from puzzle templates and downloadable puzzles to DM binder pages, NPCs, loot cards, everything that you could possibly need to help give your game advantage. All of it comes with a healthy serving of food and drink, along with that special halfling hospitality. So grab a mug of ale and a slice of cake, sit back, relax, and dig in to Halfling Hobbies.
Hey guys, we're back with Roll for Review with a couple more projects that we want to talk about. So the next one that we're going to talk about is kind of a big deal right now. I don't know if you guys knew, but it's kind of a big deal. But this is The Seeker's Guide to Twisted Taverns, a 5th edition supplement filled with fantastical pre-made taverns, inspiring story hooks, and lovable NPCs. So this is a project coming to us from Eldermancy. You would know Eldermancy because of their work on Scribble's Codex, which is a Kickstarter project that also did very well. And then also the guy who runs Eldermancy is a very well-known YouTuber known in the RPG world as Runesmith. So he makes very funny comedic videos about Dungeons and Dragons. I think his stuff is pretty clever, pretty funny, makes me laugh when I'm doing cardio. A lot of big names. Yeah, a lot of big names attached. Well, it's like on an on an exercise bike. It's not like I'm like trying to like do sprints while I'm watching YouTube. They're also collaborating with Ghostfire Gaming, who's very famous for their RPG world. I'm blinking on it for just a second. It'll come to me in 3, 2. Maybe it won't. But
worth a try.
I have to pull it up now. I'm so sorry. But Ghostfire Gaming is the company that did. I'm trying to remember what their IP is called. Grim Hollow. It's a RPG world that they've created. It's a very like dark fantasy, and it's done very well on Kickstarter. It just escaped me for a second. I wanted to say like Hansel and Gretel, but anyways, The Seeker's Guide to Twisted Tavern. Currently, right now, 8,600 backers, over $800,000 with 17 days left to go. Very easily, this product is probably going to crack $1 million. Oh, yeah. And we're going to take a little look under the hood and see why this thing is tracking towards $1 million on Kickstarter right now. So, what is The Seeker's Guide to Twisted Taverns? It is 14 cool and unique taverns that are pre-made, ready to go, fully fleshed out, that you can take and pop into your RPG campaign that is fully 5e compatible. All right? So each one of these 14 taverns has over 20 pages of content minimum for each single one, complete with art, NPCs, story hooks, bar keeps, magical items, foes, a quest board. Everything is going to be included for each one of these 14 taverns. They've got like grim, seedy taverns called the Bloated Bounty. They've got huge magical taverns, it's just like they've got a tavern underwater, they've got a tavern on a train, they've got this like crazy wizard's tower where there's these dancing suits of armor that are always dancing, and they have this like warforged mechanical barkeep that has like 8 arms and stuff like that. Very clever. They've put a lot of thought and character and love into this. I highly recommend watching the video to this Kickstarter project. They wrote an entire song, like an entire bard song. Yeah. Like it's fully animated. It's really, really cool. I think that this is just a very clever project. The art is fantastic. It's really, really good. Not to say anything, but it's a little reminiscent of a project that we all know a whole lot about, with kind of that 3D cutaway. But hey, we were not the first people to ever think of that idea either. So I love their isometric views for their taverns and stuff like that. This is just a really cool product. Like it's just really very well done. And it's something that is universally useful. And in addition to that, probably going to be really fun to read based on who's working on it, right?
They have a gambler's game.
Mm-hmm.
They have a gambler's game in this where you can go to the tavern and gamble too. That's fun. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at this. They have cards for the maps that you can lay down to create your own tavern and like little modules.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Actually, so the modular tavern, so I did a little bit of research on this. They have these modular tiles, and there's a tavern in the book called like the Sunset or the Daydream or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but these modular tiles are because like this tavern rearranges itself every day. Wow. And so you can use these taverns to like create the random layout of the tavern for that particular one over and over again. But you can also use it just to create like your own tavern that you want to make with little tiles on it. Every single tavern has like a like just a little handout that shows like the full top-down view of it. They've got custom dice, they've got enamel pins, they've got a mug.
They have a
like
pop
they have
figure?
They have a pop figure. Yeah, I saw that too.
I think that's a plushie.
It's a plushie that looks like...
Well, it just says it's a chibi, so maybe it is like a Funko.
The chibi.
Yeah.
The secret chibi.
So this is really cool. Like, I mean, like, tell me something that's wrong with this. Like, somebody please.
I was gonna say they gotta have a mug. They got a mug.
This is my one gripe, and it has nothing to do with the project itself. It has to just do with the Kickstarter page. And I think looking at this, I would not know what I was getting. Because all I see, if I'm like scrolling through this really quickly, I see all of these Yback Nows, which is absolutely fantastic. Like I'm hooked on that, and I go, great, what is it? And I see enter 4 unique locations, and there's just some text that kind of says really quickly what you might be getting. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna say really quickly. I think one of the things that here's something that if I had to give some feedback, which I mean, what's that worth? Because they're raising tons of money. But anyway, So let me give you my advice on what you could do better. But no, I agree with you. I think they should have shown a little bit more about the different tavern things. Yeah. But a lot of that information is in the videos. So they're really relying on you to watch the videos, but not everybody watches the videos, and they already have the graphics. Why not make like a thing that says, look at 4 of our locations? Like they have one called the Fungal Grotto, which is like inside of a giant mushroom, right?
I'd love to see that. That'd be so cool.
And that's the thing. From a marketing standpoint, if you look at a lot of the statistics, and I'm going to put my marketing manager hat on for a second, a lot of that back end for Kickstarters, you can actually see how long people are viewing your video. And most of the time, people watch for maybe you have 30 seconds at the most. A lot of the time, it's like 5 seconds, I'm done. And people just want to get in and get out, and not even a lot of the time people are really watching it. So with this kind of thing where you're introducing a song, like, yes, absolutely, it's cute, but you have to really grab people quickly. And again, they already have $800,000. What's this mean anything now? But if you are thinking of starting a Kickstarter, you have to really consider how are you putting forth what your project is. And I think that is one area where I think they could have probably even hit 1 million sooner if more people could just see exactly what they're getting. And again,
like
you can't even
show
guarantee
off
that, but show it off.
show off 3 or 4 of the locations, like show me the cool maps. And I've seen that stuff. They're using that as marketing images all over social media.
Yeah.
Like I am inundated with this stuff every day, because they're really going hard on the marketing, but none of that's on the Kickstarter page.
Exactly.
So all right,
I would think
so let's talk about the value, and what you're going to get. So for $55, that's when you're going to get the book, the physical book, and they're also going to give you all of the top-down tavern maps. So all of the tavern maps. That's what I'm currently backing at, because like it's just such a useful book to have in my collection as a DM. Like maybe I just think that some of these ideas are really cool and I want to have them on my shelf so that one day I might want to just read up on it and pop one of those taverns into the next town my players visit. Really cool ability to do that. But then what if you want more? Well, then I think you're going to want to go in for $125. At $125, you get the deck of cards, you get the tiles, you get enamel pins, you get a quest board, you get dice, you get a mug, you get coasters, you get a chibi. You just get like you're just going to get a box full of just goodness and just put it all over your bed and roll around in it. Like if you back at $125, which honestly is going to be probably
better get a lot of stuff for that.
It's probably going to be way more pointy and uncomfortable to do that with this project than it is to do with just $125 cash. So maybe don't do that, but the feelings will still be there. So $125, you can get everything. They have a $250 level that just gets you like some super fancy dice and like a limited edition cover of the book. If you want that, fine, whatever. I think $125 is like where you want to be if you want to go all in on this, but you can just pick up this project for $55. Got to give it a score. 19. I find so little wrong with this. I looked and I looked and I looked and I'm just like, it's a great product. It's really well done. It's really well presented and it's really well put together. So it gets a 19. Good job, guys. I'm excited. I'm a backer.
It's gorgeous. It's super cool. So tell me, Joe, as a DM though, do you feel like your players spend enough time in taverns to invest that amount of money in having a book solely dedicated to it, where you have to read 20 pages per tavern before you use it?
We're in a tavern. How many? You can answer this, Joe.
Maybe not.
Okay.
But what I will say is I like creating taverns. I really do like creating taverns. Like right now, my players are in the capital city of the world that I've homebrewed, and they are staying in this tavern called the Dandelion, and it's run by a very like well-to-do elf who's extremely fancy. But it costs like 10 gold a night. But it is like one of my players even said this. They're like, man, this, like, all I did is describe it, like all of the amenities and stuff like that. And like one of my players was like, this place is really nice. And then one of my other players was like, yeah, we need to figure out how to get somebody to pay for this for us because we're going to go broke staying here. But I had fun creating this like very upper class, well-to-do floofy inn. It's called the Dandelion. And like, I like creaking taverns.
I do too. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's my only thing where I'm like, at $55, that's a good chunk invested, you know?
But Hannah, like, here's the thing, right? When it comes to these books, right? I feel like you're never gonna like me and you, we're not gonna buy this book and we're not gonna like find a way to use all 14 of these inns. In fact, I doubt that if we bought this, we would even use one of these inns. What would we do? We just rip ideas. Be like, I like that NPC. I like that barkeep. I like that idea. And it's fun to read. Things
I'm already
like
gonna rip ideas, so
I also think that we are actually in a tavern every session, or at least every other.
No, for sure. But my thing is that like my players, they come, they eat, they get some gossip, they leave. Like if I was doing something like that, I feel like I would railroad them to not leave for like whole
Oh,
sessions. Like, no, we're doing this
My tiefling
because I
bard is
spent
a
money
drinker.
on this.
My tiefling bard's a drinker, and he has a great time, so he spends some time there.
All right.
Yeah.
I was just curious because that's a good investment. I was just wondering. All
That's
right,
very
Yeah.
fair.
mine's up next, and all I have to say is, gentlemen, would you like to play an RPG set in J.R.R. Tolkien's Middle Earth?
Yes,
Yes, please.
Yeah. The answer is immediately yes. Please give this to us now. Which is why my next Kickstarter is also almost at $1 million.
Oh my! Oh wow!
It's at 8,000 backers, and we're at $993,000 for this. Yeah, $1 million, right?
Oh
And
my.
this is called The One Ring. It's a role-playing game. This is the second edition, and it's set in the world of The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. And it's designed by Francesco. I'm not gonna say your last name, bud, because I'm gonna say it wrong, but Francisco I can say. And this is a really, really cool project because this is the second edition of this project.
Wow.
This project has already been released before. People have been playing it for years, giving them lots and lots of feedback on this. And this is kind of what they created out of that feedback. This is the world of Middle Earth, but this is before you get the trilogy, where all of that Bilbo Baggins is still in like this. You actually get a little letter to him at the beginning, which is super cool. But he's not an active part in what you're doing, and those events have not started yet. And you actually get to go a really cool place. So down in the settings area. So the setting of this, because a lot of you are probably wondering how in the world can I play in Middle Earth when you have all these big events happening? Well, you go before it and you go to a different area. So this is the Third Age. This is the end or the twilight of the Third Age. And this is kind of the time frame of The Hobbit. And it's encompassing more than 6 decades. And this period is ushered in when Bilbo the Hobbit finds the One Ring. So that's, for any of you nerds out there, 2965 is about that age of the Third Age. So what you have is you are in the lone lands of Eerdor, which, if you don't know where that is in between the Blue Mountains and the Misty Mountains. It's this area which in Elvish actually means the Lonely Lands. So this is the area where not a lot of people are. And it's the Men of the West. This is the North Kingdom of Dúnedain. This is that area. So the main books don't have anything to do with that. So your players are really kind of free. They have free reign in this area to do different things. Now, this is a grand scheme, big picture kind of a game, and it's almost difficult to like explain everything that's in it because there's so much.
In Tolkien style.
Yeah, true Tolkien style. The cool thing about this, I will say, is that they've created a system that works alongside the narrative of The Lord of the Rings. Wow. So in that same style of the narrative, that's actually how the system works. So you have a feat dice, which is a D12, and then you have success dice, which are D6s. I don't know if anybody played Scion. I was super into Scion for a while, but it's the same kind of idea. If any of you guys play Scion out there, comment down below. Nobody plays Scion, but it's great. So
is that the one where you play as like pretty much like a godlike superhero?
Yes, you're demigods. Like you have one god parent, and it's like that defines your skills and everything.
Fun.
Oh, I love it. I always did Egyptian gods, and it was so much fun. So you get to choose your pantheon and everything. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about this. So you've got this system where you go in. They even have a system for use of like hope. They have magical die rolls. They have journeys and councils. Like they have all this stuff. And it doesn't go super into the rules of it because the game's already existed for a while. This is just kind of second edition tweaked rules. So I've never played it before, so I can't exactly explain how it works. But I know that you have like 2 alternating phases. So you have like your fight dish kind of phase and then your fellowship phase, like, and they just switch back and forth. So what you're going to get is you're going to get the starter set of this, which is everything that you need to actually start playing. And Joe, you're going to love this because it has a map, a huge full color map of the Shire. Of the Shire. And
tell me that's not going
Yerdor.
on your wall, right?
Oh, it's going on my wall. Oh my gosh, I'm so just for that I'm excited. So this beautiful, huge map. You have stance cards, so when you're actually fighting, you have different fighting stances that you use, which is a part of that system that I don't fully understand. You get custom dice, you get item cards. I always am in for item cards. We talked about that before. Sounds great. You get a compendium for the Shire. And then there were 25 stretch goals, and all but 2 of them are unlocked.
Wow.
And there's a ton of stuff that you get with this. You get the Shire map, you get art, you get the bonus characters, you get bonus stories. So they're writing full adventures to go along with this. Some of them with the ruins that are in that area. They're actually creating different like adventure points with different little maps and things. Mm-hmm. That's what like a Gathering Storm is its own standalone adventure in it. Like, it's insane. This is insane and big.
This is a lot.
Yeah.
So there's something I guess I'll add to this conversation around this project. It's really cool. I love the Lord of the Rings. I love the movies. I love the books. I love so much about what Tolkien's world is, and we owe a lot to it.
Yeah.
I don't like running or playing in what I consider low fantasy games. I like my
want magic to be front and center.
I want my fantasy worlds to be more like what's considered like it when you think about like Faerun and like stuff like that, like that's where I like to kind of like that's where I pull my inspiration from for like most of my world settings, because I like to have that like artificers and potion shops and big bustling cities. And this is very more akin to almost like medieval style, right? Like it's fantasy, but it's like very medieval, very low tech, extremely low tech.
Yeah, and this even says, to that point, this even says you're not heroes, you're not wizards, you're not anything like that. You are common people who are standing against the rising of the shadows. That's what you are. So think Frodo. You are Frodo. And there's an aspect of that I love. And I know both of you are like, no, I want to cast Fireball.
I do.
But there's an aspect of that struggle and that character development, and that's that little guy like Samwise Gamgee, you know, just the little guy who won't give up. No.
So this is something that this is something I think would be really, really fun to play, like for like a 3-month campaign. Like play it for 12 sessions, right? And play through this. I don't think this is a game I want to play for years.
I would. And this goes back to our different styles. This is why we work good together as a stream, is because we all have different styles. I love this gritty lo-fi. I also like the horror stuff. Like, I like this kind of game because it's so character rich. It's not a wizard going in and solving problems with Fireball. It is you're not special. You have to figure out how to outsmart trolls, right? You can't just blow them up. You gotta do something, wait until the sun rises to turn them to stone, right? That's how, in my opinion, epic stories should be told. And that's what this setting is. So if you want... because it's going to take a while. This campaign's going to take a while. I mean, Lord of the Rings, 3 books, they are really big books, but they told literally the most epic story that we probably have, which is why we keep going back to it over and over and over, and it's classic. And there's that element of that to this. So that is in the defense of lo-fi.
Absolutely. So what would you roll it?
So I don't remember what I wrote down. But I'm going to give this a 16 now while I'm thinking of it. I'm going to give this a 16. Because it's Lord of the Rings, it's solid, it has so many resources and so many things to it, and you get so much more with all these stretch goals that I think it's really awesome. And then I'm going to give it, I was going to give it a +1 for the amount of information, but also a -1 for the amount of information because this is so overwhelming and it feels like reading the Silmarillion. Like when you're actually reading this, it's like, oh my goodness, this is a lot. But it's also super cool.
Yeah.
It also, yeah, it's a really, really neat one. So I would give it a flat 16. It's not for everybody, but what it is really awesome. And it's for enough people because it's almost to 1 million.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know.
It definitely has its fans. And again, amazing campaign. I think it depends on the scenarios, as we're talking about, or your style of play. And obviously, it's about to hit 1 million for a reason.
Yes,
so,
absolutely solid. So real quick, I'm going to talk about the pledge levels because I didn't do that yet. So the core rules starter set in just PDF, you can get this for $37. Super affordable. That's none of the physical items or things, but that's all of the PDF stuff that you need. If you want the hardback of just the core, you have to jump up to $61, which is understandable. Core rule books are just more expensive. But then you get everything else in PDF format. I think that probably that 37 is a good place if you've never played this before and you want to try it out. I desperately wanted to do the $145 level though, because that's the level where you get the leather bound, like anniversary, 10th anniversary limited edition of the core rule set. It's in leather. It's super cool looking.
It's a collector's piece. I mean,
it's the collector's piece. Only on Kickstarter, only for this Kickstarter. It's never going to be printed again.
Fair.
So that's super cool. And then you get all the other things in hard copies, like you get hardbacks of all the adventures, all of the stuff. So at that level. But yeah, if you just want to try it out, you think this sounds cool, $40 gets it for you.
Well, cool. Yeah. Very nice. Well, I'm going to take us to another format of virtual tabletop. And I think we're seeing a strong resurgence of these on Kickstarter. And it's really good, I think, to point out a few as we do these every other week. And I think we're going to see different ways where some are really showing off and doing a ton of amazing work, like Dungeon Alchemist. And it's really great to show off what others can do. So this one that I'm showing is Let's Roll, an immersive and easy-to-use virtual tabletop. Play your favorite tabletop RPGs directly in your browser, using pictures, PDFs, music, sound effects, and video. So this is what I really like, is that there are sound effects and video and other layers as well. Not just the three-dimensional maps, which are great, but this is really going into adding multiple layers to that virtual tabletop experience. And to me, I love, I put on the music in the background as we're playing. So I'm sitting in our Zoom or our Google Hangouts listening to the music. This one is web-based, it's free to play, and there's no monthly fee. So super, super cool. It's created by Let's Roll, and this is their first ever created campaign. And it has over 2,000 backers, 17 days to go, and of their $9,700 goal, they've raised $161,000. So they are doing really well. It funded in 17 minutes, and it's got the Project We Love marker on there as well. It's accessible web platform based, and it's already gone through 14 months of alpha testing. So you're already getting into that testing. So it's not going to be taking as long as perhaps some other platforms. The access to the platform is free, and it will stay that way. They are guaranteeing that right on the page. No subscription, no functionalities will be locked behind a paywall either, which is super, super interesting.
That's awesome.
Funded through microtransactions like 3D dice sets, character sheets, skins, avatar frames. So it's essentially you're going to this browser and you can go in and customize it to you. And they're using those types of little microtransactions that you might want to say, oh, I want to get this glowing ice looking border for my character sheet. Absolutely. That's what helps fund this. And I think you're seeing that kind of idea in online gaming, which I really find interesting that they're introducing this into a platform like this. It has all of these really amazing skins and dice. It has all of these amazing maps, character sheets that pop up right onto the screen. And it's super, super cool. It has all these little icons in the bottom. It's kind of like, what I would call this, it's like Roll20 4.0. It's honestly, I think this is like the future of that type of platform, where instead of going into a really three-dimensional space, I think this is the next level. In a few years, people can go into this, have their own customized experiences. Instead of having maybe D&D Beyond in one screen and the map in one and music in another, it's all in this hub exactly like this. And you can have avatar and token frames, so you can actually customize your little token on the map. It's really, really cool, and I really, really like it. And it allows, there's icon packs for little quick bars things. It's almost got this like League of Legends style customization to it with your character borders and things like that. So I just think this is super, super interesting. So how much does this type of thing cost? For $7, it gets you the Discovery Support Pack, which welcome to Let's Roll, and thank you for your support. When the beta launches on the website, planned for September 2021. So it should be next year, or this year, coming around September. You will enjoy the virtual tabletop with 2 Kickstarter exclusive items. So it's only $7 to get access in September.
That's cool.
And you get 2 Kickstarter exclusive items, 3D dice skins and avatar frames. For $37 is the early access pack. It received more Kickstarter exclusive items once the beta launches, and on top of all that, your account will be granted 1 gigabyte of storage. So I think this is also including uploadings of different characters, different sheets, and things like that. There's so many different dynamic lighting is upcoming. New website, new shop features, animated video maps. So they're gonna have animated maps too. So it's not just flat, which is super, super interesting. So for me, I'm looking at this. I would probably just go with the $7 right off the bat. And just see where this goes. But if you're looking for a little bit of extra storage, and I'm not 100% sure, to be honest, where that storage comes into play, and I think that's something maybe in the video, but I want to approach these as if I am just going in and I'm looking at the page, right? And there's not really much about that storage here on the page, and that is going to be my little gripe about this, is that yes, it looks fantastic, but I feel like there's one other thing you're not telling me, and that is that storage. What does that storage have to do with my performance, and is that going to affect it in the long run?
The images that they show are so beautiful,
yes,
and so dynamic, and so cool. But I just spent most of the time that you were talking listening to you and reading through the page, and I as a DM am not 100% sure what I do with this yet. Like, I'm not 1,000% sure, like, how do I use this? Do I still need Roll20? Does this replace Roll20? If it does, what are all the functions? Like, I don't know. Like, I see a lot of GIFs of, like, dice being rolled, right? Like, I see that, but, like, it's not showing me other things, and that's kind of what I'm looking for. So I might have to watch the video to see that, but like the page itself did not give me enough information as a DM to say this is going to up my game.
I would agree, and I think so. For me, being someone who's so into the experience of that and having you know, a ton of windows open all the time, looking at this and off the bat and going, wow, everything's under one roof. That is really great, and it's $7. I will invest $7 to see what happens with this. In terms of the things that you're saying it's missing, it definitely is missing those, and I think those are things that with a product like this and a platform like this that you really need to communicate very, very clearly to the people that are backing your project, and perhaps those are more in-depth coming in more releases and updates. But I think for $7, I think it's a great thing to just kind of say that's maybe a little bit of an like it's like a venti coffee at Starbucks. There you go. You can see what this platform's about in September and potentially have everything under one roof. I'm
intrigued.
Yeah.
Very intrigued.
Right. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a roll. I'm going to give this a roll of 17 just for the fact of the platform, but I'm actually going to give it a -1 for the page and how it's kind of leaving something out. And perhaps we might be the only people, probably not, but we might be a select few that are really, really diving into this and thinking about this further than, oh, it's this really awesome platform under one roof for $7. I'm going for it. So I'm going to go ahead and give it that -1. But again, I see huge potential with this type of platform, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
Also a new way to do it, which is super fun to see some innovation happening there as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Very intriguing. Very intriguing.
Yeah.
Very intriguing. So we are going to take another little break to hear from something that is very near and dear to our hearts, and we will be back very soon.
The Wanderer's Guide is a 50-page compendium designed to enhance your fantasy RPG campaigns. Immersive, beautiful maps and artwork by Andrew Bosley. Dry erase pages for quick editing and changes as your campaign evolves. An abundance of tokens to add more character, landmarks, features, and customization to your campaign. An interactive NPC system for adding lots of variety and plot hooks for the Game Master to engage the players. Artwork featuring fun details and story elements to enhance collaborative storytelling, world building, and spark the imagination of the players and the Game Master. The Wanderer's Guide. Your world, your adventure.
Hey everybody, we're back. We got a couple more projects and some fun finds for you. So we're going to keep this rolling along. And with our next project, which is Under the Seas of Vodari, Aquatic Adventuring for 5th edition. Dive into a world full of action and adventure set beneath the waves of Vodari on your own 5th edition campaign world. So, Under the Seas of Vodari is a very, very cool project. It is the second campaign by a company called Tribality, and their first Kickstarter was a product about the seas of Vodari. So it was a swashbuckling pirate setting that they were like creating, right? And now what they're doing with this product is they're saying, okay, the last book, we were all on boats above the water. They're like, there's a whole world below the water, right? Very cool. I want you guys to look at this because we've talked about quite a few projects that have raised $250,000, almost $1 million. Like we have been talking about projects that have just been boom, 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 knocking it out all night. This is a product that it's doing well, but it's not blowing the doors off, okay? Right now has just about 550 backers and just a hair over $30,000 funded, okay? But it is funded, so, you know, money well spent here. They've made product before, so you are working with a reputable company that has met their funding goal, and they have, you know, a decent amount of backers already. 16 days left to go on this one from the time that we're recording. Let's talk about Under the Seas of Vodari, because there's a lot here. There's a lot to unpack. And I have a list, and this is going to be in no means exhaustive, but like I'm just going to talk about stuff that is in this product. So what this is this is a campaign setting / like adventure guide / handbook for playing underwater games or underwater like campaign adventures is what it is. And you can take as much or as little as you want from this. If you want to just run an underwater one shot in your campaign, you need this book. If you want to run an entire underwater campaign where most of your world is going to be taking place in their setting below the waves, you really need this book. But we're going to go through some of the stuff that they have here. Dungeons in the form of caves, shipwreck graveyards, and lost underwater temples. Cities that stretch the seafloor to the surface. Unexplored wild seas and the inky darkness of the midnight depths. A challenging environment where danger can come from any direction. I like that. I like that you're swimming, right, in this campaign. And that's something that you don't think about, right? You're swimming. Literally, it's like monsters can be above, below, or any 360 degree thing. Like, it is very, very cool to think about that in that way. Monsters adapted to an alien environment that will surprise and terrify you. Player races, one-shots, or an entire campaign arc. There is an entire underwater world to explore. Factions, NPCs, locations, adventure hooks, 12 races, 12 brand new underwater races, 13 subclass options for your players to choose and create characters with. So 13 new subclasses for underwater adventuring. Undersea themed backgrounds and feats. Armor featuring shark skin. Weapons featuring harpoons, spear guns. Undersea gear, tools, and trinkets. And collection of undersea vehicles and a list of undersea mounts, including dolphins, giant seahorses, and manta rays. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Guess what? I'm not even halfway through my list yet, guys, of the stuff that is in this book. Undersea themed magical items and powerful ancient relics. NPCs that you can befriend or face as adversaries. Stat blocks for 17 plus undersea beasts. So they have an entire 17 creature monster manual for undersea adventures here. Ancient and gargantuan leviathans. All right. Random tables for exploring undersea settlements and the wild wilderness seas in between them. Rules and advice for underwater combat and chases. Underwater hazards such as frigid waters, crushing pressure, poisonous water, air pockets, volcanoes, and vents.
Wow.
This
so well thought out.
This is
a lot.
There's so much in this book. And here's what it is. They have built an entire world for you, but you could just very easily just take the world that you've created, your own homebrew world, and just create an adventure below the ocean floor. Because guess what? You haven't put time into like world building that at all. Let them do it for you. Just take it and go in there. This is an incredible product, and I'm telling you right now, I have already backed. This already has my money, because where else are you going to get this information for your D&D campaign? Right now, I have no intention of my players starting an underwater campaign, but if I ever decide that that's something I want to do, I have to have this resource in order to do it. So like it's so good to just have something in your library that is a book about the Feywild, a book about the Underdark, a book about like all of these different locations, these elemental planes that your characters might end up going to one day.
Because you never know where they're gonna go. You don't.
You never know.
This would also be super cool for like a new player who wants to do something different, and having these classes and these races, because one of the rare times when I actually got to play, I like doing those kinds of characters. So I was actually a Triton, and how they brought me into the campaign was that I was found, I got tangled in the fishing nets, and then it was part of like a traveling circus type thing where I was locked in this cage of like water, and so that's how the party found me and whatnot. Like, you could do something like that as the tie-in, as the lead-in to a campaign like this, and not be your entire campaign, but definitely be several really cool sessions.
And if you're the DM and you just want to get your players underwater, next time they're on a boat, sink that mother. Just lightning bolt that ship. And guess what? Whether they wanted to or not, they're in an underwater campaign now, guys.
Oh yeah.
Done.
And they're all riding giant seahorses.
Man. In underwater I just imagine like a vast field of jellyfish, like in Finding Nemo. and they have to like find their way through. Oh my!
This is a really cool
You haven't
project.
even mentioned the art.
Yeah, the art is really good.
Gorgeous.
It has like a almost anime style vibe to it, like very like adjacent to anime. I really do like it. It's like a mix between like your traditional D&D WotC art and like more of like a like an anime cartoon, like Saturday morning cartoonish type vibe. I really do dig it a lot, and it's consistent, which is great.
Yeah.
We talked about another project a couple of weeks ago. Very inconsistent art was not my jam. This is really good. Lots of good stuff here.
Super cool. Anyway.
I mean, this is something that's it's very specific. Not everybody. It's not going to be everybody's jam. So that's the thing. The last project I talked about, everybody's going to go to a tavern. How many people are going to run an underwater campaign?
Well, I am now.
So here, let's talk about the value.
Yep.
If you just want the book, they have a really good deal. $38. That is a good deal if you want this book with all of that content in it. $38. That is a steal. Okay. For $75, you get a ton of extra content and free shipping and a map.
Map. Is
yeah.
that the one you
So
got?
I mean,
Joe, those maps.
no. So I actually backed at the $99 level, which is all of the stuff that I just mentioned, but you also get their previous book, The Seas of Vodari, that has like their like swashbuckling setting. Because I'm like, well, I didn't know about these guys. I didn't know about it's what, $25 extra. I was like, I didn't know about these guys before. I'm sure there's like, I don't have a book that like really tells me a lot about piratey adventures. Like I'd have to make all that stuff up. It'd be cool to just have like a resource to use for stuff like that. So I figured, you know, I might as well. I really want to support this company. They seem like they're really cool people working on a really cool, passionate thing. So that's kind of the pledge levels that I looked at. But seriously, like, if you're gonna spend $38 on Kickstarter, like this is
well spent.
This is totally worth it. So that is Under the Seas of Vodari, and for a rating, I'm going to give this a 17. But I'm going to give it a -1 because it is a very specific setting that has a very limited use, but I'm gonna just give it a +1 because it's such a cool setting that has such a really cool use.
Like,
so it balances out, and it's gonna stay it's gonna stay at a 17. It's really, really good. But there's a lot of things, like I just don't see a lot of people wanting to do this, right? Like I don't see every D&D group being down for this. So
yeah, it's true.
Like,
it's all I want right now, but
but it looks good, guys. It's got my money. Hopefully it can get some of yours. So it's great. Under the Seas of Vodari.
Love it. So we're going from a setting that you may not use as often, that some players may not be into, to one that is very, very select, which is my next one, called Good Society. This is a Jane Austen RPG, and I know you two guys are probably like, but I told my sister-in-law, and I told several others, and they're like, oh my gosh, give this to me. Yes. Were you gonna say something? Say that you love it.
I was gonna say we lost you for a quick second, but you're back.
Oh, sorry. Okay, cool. I might have been yelling too loud. Just insert fangirl noises. That's all you have to do. Insert fangirl noises. That's what happened there. So basically what you are doing in this diceless, that may lose me, but I thought I'd rip the Band-Aid off. This diceless RPG is you are writing your story in the style of Jane Austen. And this is a completely new, to me at least. They've done this before. This is like a re-release with some new decks and things with it. But this is designed to be just like a Jane Austen novel. And if you've read any of her novels, you know that there's a very specific kind of layout to the events that happens. There's the event, whatever it be, a ball, a tea party, whatever. You have the character's thoughts about that, an inner monologue. Then you have her going home, writing some letters that are very important that kind of spur the plot forward. And then you have the results of whatever it is that happened and how they affect that heroine's reputation, good or bad. All of her novels kind of follow this same guideline, and that's exactly what this system's created to do. Now, it's a little bit hard to like picture it, so I actually made you guys little characters.
Oh my
that
gosh.
so that I could like show you kind of how this might work. So Joe, your character is the widowed Countess Denouement. And how this works is when you create a character, you have these different cards that give you positive and negative tags to your character that affect how people interact with you. When you do things, that can either give you another positive tag, or it can give you a negative tag depending on what you do, or it can even take one of those negatives away. So, for example, if you stand up for someone, you could get the positive tag of being loyal at the end of that. However, if you get drunk at the ball and embarrass everyone, you could get the negative tag of being overindulgent. So your tags, Joe, for the Countess Denouement, is your positives are that you are motherly and you're a patron of the arts, and your negative tags are that you are a nag and a bit snoopy. You like your gossip, right? And so this already kind of paints the picture of what your character is like and how your character is going to interact. Alex, you are the scandalous Lord Richie. You are, yes, scandalous. You are creative and excitable. But your negative tags are that you're a bit flippant and you're a gambler. Oof, scandalous indeed. And then, of course, I'm Lady Barrows. My positives are that I am charismatic and athletic. My negatives are that I'm demanding and reclusive. So these characters would interact, and what they are is like main characters in a book. We would be at a dance or a ball together, interacting with one another. We would kind of set how our characters like know each other and like backstories and things to them. And what this does is it works in phases. So you have your event phase, so the ball. At the ball, we interact with each other. It's like normal role playing. Now, if I want something to happen during this, most usually something negative to one of my rivals, perhaps, you can say, I would like this to happen. And what you have are resolve tokens. Resolve tokens, everyone has a certain amount of them, and you kind of trade them. So if I want to spend a resolve token to have it start raining at the garden party, whoever would be most negatively affected by that event gets to accept or reject that resolve token. So if I give it to you and you accept it, then you get another resolve token, which means you can make more things happen in the story, and yet you have this negative event that happens. This ensures that nobody takes over the story, that there's fair play between things. You also have, everyone has one monologue token, where when something happens, you can say, I play a monologue token. Alex, I want you to tell me your inner thoughts and feelings when this event happens. So if something extremely scandalous or exciting happens, you can say, monologue token, monologue token. I want to know what you're thinking. And that's actually one of the things you can do, which is so exciting, is that you can make it a murder mystery. Oh, which I just want to make this a murder mystery tea party. I think that would be fabulous.
Gosh, that does seem
We
fun.
can find out who murdered my poor dear husband, leaving me a widow.
That's right.
He didn't pay his debts. I'm glad he's gone.
I mean, we're just setting this in Georgia now, right?
Yeah, this
like,
is now
Yeah,
Georgia.
yeah.
I feel like
This
is more of...
I can't do an English accent, so I just use my Georgia accent.
Oh, I love it. I love it so much. I'm so excited right now. So you have these events and you can figure out what the inner monologue of people are, and then it moves into the episcopary phase, which is letter writing. So each of the characters can choose to write a letter to another character, and that character can respond in letters. You can write them to NPCs, and NPCs can write them to you. The game master kind of dictates that. And these letters can kind of like spur the plot and where you're going. The last, not the last phase, the third phase is the gossip phase, which, come on, that's just so much fun. Each player, you're going to go around your little circle twice, right? Kind of like the Dirty Santa gift exchange. First player starts out, they can spread some gossip about another player. You go on to the next, they can choose to spread the gossip, or they can create their own piece of gossip. And this can be any kind of gossip, just anything that you think of that you want to say. And you go around your circle till you get to the last person, then they go twice, and then you go back around the circle, choosing to create or spread gossip. And this all kind of affects the plot. And then your last is where you decide, do I gain reputation points because of this whole event and this gossip and everything else, or do I lose reputation points? And then you go on to the next big scene. So it kind of moves, the letter phase kind of moves through time. So you're not doing like all linear all the time. You're kind of moving through time by events. So you do events role play, and then you do all this other stuff before you get to your next event. Awesome. So it is I know it's kind of a big, interesting project, but it's raised $42,000. It smashed its goal. There's almost 600 backers to it. We still got 21 days to go on it, and it just looks like so much fun. And I have to say that they on here, if you don't quite understand exactly how I'm explaining all of this, because it is a complicated system, they have a stream on here of live gameplay. And I may or may not have watched way too much of it today and ate an entire bag of chips, just like, oh, how could he? Oh, it's so scandalous. So it's like a soap opera in RPG, and I'm so happy.
Hannah, if you back this, I will 100% play with you live on air.
Are you serious?
I'd be
down. You'll do 100%.
Are you serious? Right? I'm gonna cry.
Live on air. I will get a costume. I will get a costume. I'm not even kidding.
Oh yeah, we will totally cosplay.
I can't sit. I'm so excited. I can't. Oh my gosh, are you serious?
Absolutely.
Guys,
this sounds like so much fun.
This sounds fun.
I thought you guys would hate it. Oh, I'm so happy
this is such a fun thing to do. I mean, you just spend the entire time gossiping about people, right? Like it's like no, this is wonderful. This makes me so happy.
And then because it's Jane Austen time, so you have certain societal standards that you have to live up to. You've got this underhanded, like in conversations where you kind of put people down, but you have to do it in an underhanded, genteel kind of way. Or you can choose to just be the scandalous one and do all of the things that society tells you shouldn't do and just take all the negative tags. It's a really cool system because the more negative tags you get, like things happen because of that. You have disrupted relationships. Maybe people don't talk to you, all that kind of thing. So it's really cool RPG. It's like all of the RPG elements that get left to the wayside because we got to go slay the monster, right? It's like all of those in a beautiful, beautiful designed game. And I could not be more excited about this. You also have cards for secondary characters. So you're the main character. You also have secondary characters that help or hinder your main character in different ways. And yeah, there's a lot to it. But let's see where we're going to back, guys, since we're going to do this. Okay, so this is Australian dollars, I think.
Yep.
AU, is that what that is? Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
So the first level is you can get just the new deck. If you already have the other stuff, you can get just the new deck for 8. I don't have any of it. So we're going to have to go down to base set is $63, which is not bad for a full game base set. You're going to get the hardcover rules. You're going to get the base deck set. You're also going to get the PDF in March of 2021. So we could do this during spring break. This could be a little live episode during spring break, which is super exciting. Then you can get the expansion collection, which I would recommend because I looked through the expansions This is where you get the Swords and Magic deck, where you can actually live a double life, and you can be like a little Zorro hero at nighttime and go like, go just help people. And you have to live this double life, and you have to stop the gossip about you being that. That one.
I want to be. I gotta be.
You got Service and Ambition. You got Love and Longing. There's one that's in the Fae. It's called the Fae Courts. Yeah, so that's the one that brings in some magic, but still, so it's like the blending. Yeah, it's like the blending of the Austen and the high fantasy, which is really fun. It's super cool. So those are the different levels here. I love this. I think it's really well thought out. It's a clever, unique system. I'm 100% in. For my roll, it is a 19. It's a 19 for the roll. And that's just flat. It's just great. I could add so many modifiers, so I'm just like, just 19. It's so good.
Looks great.
Looks like a lot of fun, and I'm excited to try it.
Oh, this is going to be so much fun. I got to get a ball gown.
It's time. Let's go.
It's finally time.
Oh my gosh. All right, so for the last project, before we get into our last 3 zines, I am going to take us to a very different scene, and this is called Farsight. And it looks super, super cool, and it's 5e Evolved Explorative Sci-Fi RPG, a science fiction role-playing game on exploration and conflict based on 5e, and it just looks so cool. And really, here's the thing. I'm going to tell you this right off the bat. It has a lot. It is a lot. There's a ton in this scenario, in this entire environment. It's created by Lightfish Games. It's their first project. It has over 209 backers, and they've just passed their goal of 11,000, and they've hit 16,000 now. But really, the reason that I've highlighted this is there's a couple reasons for this. One, the art grabbed me right away. I think this just looks super cool. It's got that Halo feel mixed with like a lot of different video games, and it's got like that Dead Space. It's just got these really cool feels to it. But what also really gets me is how much work has been put into this. And it has, and our comments say Mass Effect D&D. Exactly.
Oh, yes! It's exactly what it looks like, yeah.
Exactly. And there's just such an incredible amount of work that's gone into this. And what's really cool is you can actually already download the, and I gotta get to it here, and I might have skipped it already, but you can download the quote-unquote quick start guide. And I'm going to tell you why it's quote-unquote quick start guide, because it is actually 107 pages.
Okay.
But they already introduced that, and you can read through it now. So it has gone through tons of work already, and you can already jump into and read this. And it looks super, super cool. It's gone through years of design and playtesting. It's ready to play and essentially just ready to go. It has an extremely flexible character building system, be able to create the heroes they want, forge their own destiny, and it can actually touch on multiple types of futuristic style space exploration and far future ultimate sci-fi adventures. So you can either do, the setting can either be an epic space opera, or it can be a darker cyberpunk or even post-apocalyptic. So it offers a lot of different variants into how you can go into this scenario. And again, from a DM standpoint, there's a lot here. This is a lot. If you want to go into this and just want to start a new type of game for 5e and it's futuristic and Mass Effect, I would say this has a lot, and it's rich.
It's a lot, but thank God it's 5e compatible, because like you don't have to learn a whole brand new rule set. Like you can just like roll with the rules that you know, right?
Yep.
Like that's the thing that always gets me about like some of these games. And one of the thing about the Lord of the Rings one is it's just a brand new system, and learning systems are so time consuming to like learn brand new systems.
Yeah. Absolutely. And just the style, the branding overall, and right now we're showing some of the actual products. The cover's beautiful. If you were to go for the Legend exclusive box set, it's got that really clean white box with those clean logos on there.
Very futuristic looking. It's awesome.
It's got that Destiny look to it if you've played the game Destiny. So I think this is a lot of work has gone into this. And
Alex, you probably hate this, but did you see the miniatures?
I did. They are flat miniatures.
I am in love with that idea because I don't have storage. Like, I don't have storage for all the miniatures that I have. Can I please get flat miniatures? I use paper all the time just because I can store them more easily. Yeah. But literally a stack of miniatures that I can store in a little box, please sign me up. Give me just that. If you're a Kickstarter person, give me just that. I will pay for it.
Here's the real question that we're not asking, though, is, am I backing all the projects that we talked about tonight? The answer may not surprise you.
Yes, I feel like it's a yes. But here's the thing. Here's the price point for this, and this is something that I think there's a big jump in the middle, and I kind of think we can discuss this a little bit on this. So to really get into this, you're gonna essentially jump in around, for the PDFs, it's $23. And that's where you're getting the PDFs, you're getting all core book upgrade and stretch goals, digital stretch goals, and a PDF of the GM screen. If you want to get the physical book, it jumps up to $49, which, understandable in terms of manufacturing, it might be a little bit more of an expensive book to create. The rest of it is all the same PDFs. So you're adding about an extra $20 for just the printed book. Personally, I would look myself at the digital because I don't see a jump of $20 worth in a printed material. That would be my thought. But then there's a $50 jump to get the printed book, the printed GM screen, a printed card deck, all core upgrades and stretch goals, all physical stretch goals, and that's quite a big jump. So looking at how these stretch goals are structured, I think that actually might be a reason why we're not seeing a little bit more of popularity in terms of backing for this, because I think if you're looking at that pricing structure, and we've looked through this, especially for the Wanderer's Guide and other projects that we've worked on in the past, and working with game manufacturing and things like that, and Joe, you can attest to this as well, it's really important to look at your manufacturing and look at your pricing for your pledge levels and ensuring that it really has almost a psychological marketing aspect to it to kind of lead people into those higher tiers and allowing people to be a little bit more relaxed if they want to go into a higher price point. This, I think, has a lot of big jumps that might make people a little apprehensive into backing. So personally for me, I'm wanting to immediately back the PDF because the next jump up is $20, and $20 psychologically, people don't really want to make that jump. If it's maybe 5 to 10, people are maybe more likely to say, all right, I'm gonna go for the print. It's not that much more, right?
Yeah.
So that's the kind of thing to consider when you're looking at this. So personally, I think I would go for the PDF version for the 23, and if I maybe had a little bit of extra, wanted to get just the printed book, I might go there, but I'm leaning more towards the PDF. What do you guys think about that?
Dude, some of this art is just jaw-dropping.
It's beautiful.
I find it very, very hard to back something on an only PDF. Like, I just want a book. Like, even even if the cost, just want the book. Yeah. And like, I really want it. And at the end of the day, if the book that if I'm getting an RPG book for less than $50, I'm like, I'm kind of like, fine. If I go to a Kickstarter and I'm like, and they're trying to sell me a book for $65, I'm like, I don't know about that, guys. Or if they're wanting me to pay by the month, which was the weird one that Hannah talked about a couple weeks ago. Like, you see some, like, trust me, when you look at as many Kickstarter projects as we do, you see some weird stuff.
Yeah.
I think they might be able to work these prices a little bit better, and maybe they didn't think through the psychology of it as much as they could have. But I don't think it's crazy. And as somebody who would rather have a physical, as somebody that would like to have the physical book, and honestly, one thing that we can talk about from the Wanderer's Guide is art costs money. Art costs a lot of good art costs a lot of money.
And we're scrolling through a quick start guide, and there's a lot of really good art in here.
Yes.
Yeah. So
and it's worth every penny.
Yeah.
Good art is.
Like, so I mean, that's where the money's going.
I'd like
right?
more things with this art on it. Like I say it all the time, but I want a poster.
Yeah,
I want a poster.
Would be great.
Give me a poster.
And that's where I think you can introduce some things like that maybe make the pledge levels a little. Like for example, adding a poster to that for like the $49 or $50, just making it a little bit of a rather than just the printed
one
book
more
jump,
thing. It does not cost you that much to make a poster, but people immediately go, "Ooh, value."
Just a little thing that's not just the printed book.
Or, a map or two.
A map,
maybe.
A map would be great.
Maybe a map. Yeah, maybe throw in a little map.
It's that kind of thing. It's like if you're gonna do a
got any more of those
jump,
maps?
Give someone a little bit of a freebie to make a $20 jump to allow them to really just go, oh, I'm getting this too. Okay, I'm gonna do it.
Dude, super cool project though.
Yeah. So
super
glad we
cool.
talked about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a fan of this. I think just from the sheer amount of work and the sheer amount of just beautiful art, I think it's got so much to offer if you really wanted to go in this type of scenario. I'm just going to give it a flat 18. I think this just it's hard to fault so much work on this and so much beautiful art, mainly because looking through this 107-page book, they've done their work. They've done their hard work, and I feel like to really give anything at a minus, this isn't like, oh, we're just starting off and we're figuring this out, or we're going to be talking to you more about rules. Like, I would have to personally play through this to say, well, I think it could be this. Like, this is a lot, and I want to give them credit where credit is due.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff.
Awesome.
All right, so we're going to get into our fun finds, guys.
Finds!
Since the last episode last week where we reviewed 30 zines, there have been maybe about 100 more zines that have launched. And guys, we cannot keep reviewing 30 zines every week. But we got a lot of really positive feedback about the zines that we did review. Since so many zines have come out, each one of us have chosen a new zine that we want to talk about. And we're going to do the exact same format. So I'm going to get the clock up and we're going to have 2 minutes to sell the other people on the zines. So on your mark, get set,
Joe.
The zine I want to talk about today is called Blackout in Crater Valley, a VHS era slasher RPG. So what this zine is this is a throwback to 80s horror movies, slasher, science fiction, strange things coming from outer space. The movies I genuinely love and will watch anytime. This is the massacre. I mean, this is like the cheesy slasher movie as an RPG. It is like compatible. It has compatibility with any OSE. It has Dungeon Crawl Classic rules involved in it, so you're not really having to reinvent the wheel here. But basically, you're playing as a group of rough and tumble teenagers who are hanging out on Halloween night, and some of your friends did not show up. And when you start tracking them down, that is when the mystery begins. Is it a slasher? Is it a crazy creature that has landed here from outer space that is hungry for human flesh? Is it some mutant escaped from a nearby lab that was kept secret? These are the things, right? Is it is it a nefarious satanic cult that's running around trying to abduct people on Halloween night? You get to use whatever tropey, trashy 80s horror icons that you want and put into this. I think the artwork is very evocative of what's going on in this project. I think it has so much cool stuff in it. You're creating these it's basically just telling the stories of the movies that you have grown up watching at sleepovers your entire life. And this is such a cool thing. It really hits a sweet spot for me. They're doing really well on their funding goal. I think that this is a cool project, and I think that you should back it. What do we think? Blackout in Crater Valley, a VHS era slasher RPG. Yes or no? 1, 2, 3. Ah, yes. All right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's
100%.
great, right? It's so cool.
Awesome.
I'm in.
I love it. I love it. I'm in and excited about that. That's so much fun. Okay,
All
my
right.
turn for 2 minutes.
Ready?
All right, here we go.
Set.
Haven't done this in a week. The door locks behind you, a puzzling dungeon adventure game. Really, all I have to say about this is that it's a Zelda RPG. Literally, Zelda in RPG format. It's amazing. So you are the I know! Thumbs up while I'm talking.
Done.
You are the champion of your people, the most skilled, the smartest, the strongest of your tribe, and so is the rest of your party. Using only the items in your pack, you must claim the pieces of an ancient relic of power, the only thing capable of stopping the tyrant who terrorizes your land. These relic pieces are locked away in dungeons, warped by the tyrant into puzzling labyrinths filled with monsters. Collect key items, defeat the monsters, unlock the doors. This is the door locks behind you. So literally, you're just like in Zelda, you're going through these dungeons, you're figuring out these puzzles, you're gaining items as you go. These items go into your pack. And if you look at the little card that is your character sheet, it looks like a game inventory, because that's what it is. So you're using items. You have a limited number of usages before they break. And after using an item, a player rolls a 4 in 6 chance to mark off a usage for it. And then once it breaks, obviously you take it out of your inventory, which is why you have to collect more items as you go. And this is how you defeat the monsters with those, using those items, which is so incredibly cool and fun. You are the classic hero. You have a quest set before you to defeat the evil and, you know, save the world. And there's just nothing better than old school goodness, puzzle solving, inventory management. I love it all. What about you? Thumbs up. For the door locks behind you in 3, 2, 1.
Whee!
I backed this as you described it. It's so good. It's so good.
Oh, it's incredible. Everything about it. The art, everything about it's amazing. 100% worth your money.
Love it.
I mean, how much is it? Like, Joe, you bought it. How much? For a physical copy? 20 bucks?
20 bucks.
Yes. Heck yes. So good. Okay.
All right.
Alex, your turn.
Here is mine. Ready?
Yep.
Set.
Wait, am I doing the... Okay.
I got it.
Ready?
Okay, go.
Raccoon Sky Pirates.
Done.
Take
Record
to the
time.
skies, loot a suburban home, and escape to live like pirate royalty. Take to the skies, loot a suburban home of all the trash you can carry, and escape into the night while trying to keep your ship from self-destructing. Chittering, baggy pants, ring-tailed burglars, one day you invent an improbable anti-gravity device. Together, you hatch a scheme to build a ship out of trash and fly to the suburbs in search of better trash. There you'll find a beautiful freestanding house with a 4-car garage and cable internet. While trying not to wake up the residents, and adding the voice as we go along. Residents or the dog, you'll loot the house of all its valuables like Roombas, PlayStations, and other trash. Finally, loaded down, you'll escape back to the junkyard while fending off the neighborhood watch. Flying a ship takes coordination and discipline. Unfortunately, you're a bunch of raccoons.
I love everything about this.
This seems super fun. This is a GM-less experience, so everyone ends up providing the narrative complications for each other. But everyone's essentially trying to work together to fly this ship and steal garbage in different houses. And this is just super fun. Each scene you roll a d12, but not to see how you succeed. You're finding out what to do and what harebrained ideas enter your fuzzy little raccoon head. Influence your roll slightly one way or the other. Few actions you can do. This just seems super fun and super funny, and you could just take this into a ton of different directions. There's six raccoons: Brisket Jack, Torch Key, Kit, and Rabies Eddie. Are you gonna join him on this crazy
Wait,
ride?
wait,
I would
wait.
be-
Hold on,
Dibs,
hold on,
dibs.
hold on, hold on, hold on. Because you demanded it, they have added rules for fighting possums in an airship.
My heart. Oh,
All right, so
I'm
3,
so happy.
2, 1.
This is everything Zine Quest should be. And
Yes.
I want to throw out there, like, we didn't talk about a zine about octopuses planning a jailbreak. And
I wanted to. That was a good
there
one.
was a one-shot adventure about visiting an island full of moth people.
Yep,
Like,
I saw that one
there-
too. There's another one
So-
called Low Stakes that's about vampires in modern times.
Oh my
Ugh.
gosh.
So funny.
This
Oh
one
man,
just
you gotta
seems
go check
so
them out.
fun.
I
Yeah.
wish
That's amazing.
next year we should run a weekly Zine Quest review in February.
We have enough material, that's for
We
sure.
Yeah.
do, we definitely do. Oh
We
my
didn't.
gosh.
I don't think any of us fully realized how many were going to be out because we never
Over
really paid
200.
attention to them before. It's
Yeah, over 200.
crazy. Zine
And
Quest
if
is
you-
so much fun.
And if you pay attention to them, you end up backing way too many of them.
Yeah, because most of them are like
So-
$5.
Oh, I know.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Like I
great.
think after the last episode, I backed. I forget how many I said. I
12.
said I
Good
backed.
point.
12.
I backed.
You said 12,
12.
yeah.
Yeah, I think at this
Yeah.
point I've backed like 15 different zines, just zines, right? And I've
Mhm.
spent maybe $200, right? Which
Yeah.
for the dollar, and I'm backing everything at the physical level. If
Mhm.
that is like such amazing content for such amazing value.
Absolutely.
It's
And
great.
to those
Oh.
of you who might have missed that stream, it is on our YouTube channel, and you can definitely go ahead and check that out. Highly recommend it. But for now,
Listen, man.
this is actually the end of our episode 4. I want to thank all of you guys for joining us. We love doing these episodes for you. And if you didn't get a chance, or if you're watching this on YouTube, thanks so much. You can catch us live on Twitch every other Tuesday at 7:30 Central. And we hope to see you there. Thank you so much, everyone. And we'll see you in the next one.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
See you later.